All right, it is Thursday, November 20th, 2014. I have had no contact with anyone on East Boulevard Street today except for my son Jacob and my housemate Roland. I have not been notified of anything, period, and I have not given consent to anything, period. I have not stated or implied consent to anything, period, and I have not stated or implied any acknowledgement of anything, period. I have not nodded as though I consented to anything. I haven't looked at anyone as though I consented to anything or received notification of such. That has never happened any time, any place, anywhere, on any day, ever in my life. Loud music keeps erupting from the downstairs apartment just as I was getting ready to go. Just to sit down to it. And I just heard knocking and hammering on the other side of that outlet in the wall there. That originated in the downstairs apartment. I just opened Craig's bedroom door to lock it here on the second floor. 130.5 East Boulevard Street, where Jake and I live with our housemate Roland. And Roland is in Roland's bedroom right now. If that's not coming from the downstairs apartment, then it's coming from Ronnie's vehicle next door. Some of it was coming from the downstairs apartment, I think. Yeah, I'm about to leave now. They're cranking the music. They'll do that so the sound of me leaving won't register on the audio monitoring they're taking. Well, it's called video, sweetheart. It is 3:19 p.m. Notice that I'm going to walk out like this. My head completely covered. Nobody can see me or say that they saw my face, and then I nodded as if I consent to anything. Let's just see who's out there. That's Ronnie. Playing loud music. He's taking audio. They'll do this when I come and go. From my apartment. I've never had a single conversation with Ronnie. Don't know him and don't want to know him. As far as I can tell, he's a drunk. The way he acts in his yard. And things Roland's told me indicate that to be true. And I'm just walking down the stairs now to the Centra. And I'm unlocking Roland's car door. And it is 3:21 p.m. Roland pulls up in the driveway without music playing. But when I get into the Centra, the music, when I turn on the engine, the music immediately blares from the radio very loudly. So Roland turns it up loud. And the guy across the street is sitting in he's left his work truck on. You know, I'm not a thief. I don't steal from anybody, and I've never, ever designated anybody to act as my representative and give consent to any type of searches or monitoring or representation of me and my son. I'm taking Cornwell to East Dalzell now. To hearing at the exit of East Dalzell by New Macedonia Missionary Baptist Church. This is extremely frightening to experience, and I don't make people do these things. These are people, the people next door, Ronnie and Pat, any of their visitors are not people that Jake and I have ever had any contact with. Never communicated with verbally or non-verbally, ever. You know, don't ever go to their apartments. They've never had anything to do with me and Jake. So, that drunkard woman came over and knocked on our door when I heard her coming up the stairs. As soon as I heard her on the stairs, I immediately went into Jake's bedroom. This is Jake's placard. Have to have that in order to pick him up from school. It has to be on the dashboard. And I'm the only person that has that. Nobody else can pick him up except for me. And I'm putting that on the school documentation, so they know that. So, you know, the woman was walking up our stairwell, so I immediately left the living room and went into Jake's bedroom and closed the door. And then Roland came out of Roland's bedroom and answered the front door. And she asked him for she wanted to use Roland's phone, so she just asked Roland to give him her phone to use. And whatever she did, it was instantaneous, because if you listen to my audio tape, Roland didn't say anything, and he just handed his phone to her, evidently. And she used it and handed it right back to him in less than 15 seconds, and then Roland went right back to Roland's bedroom. It was that fast. And I was not in the living room, so I have no knowledge of what the woman was making the phone call about, or any notification of anything, or consent to anything, because I was in Jake's bedroom with the bedroom door closed, and that woman has never had any contact with me or Jake. I don't call anybody on the phone, and I've never given her permission to act as my representative. I've never given Roland permission to act as my representative and give consent to any kind of representation, search warrants, or anything like that. So what happened is that I think that's what it was, something along those lines. I don't know, because nobody's told me. But that's the first time that woman has ever come over to our apartment, to my knowledge, ever. So I've got it on audio. I was texting Facebook when she knocked on our front door in Jacob's room with Jacob's bedroom door closed. So, you know, ain't no other way to say that. I have had no contact with anyone on East Boulevard Street today, except for my son Jacob and my housemate Roland, and I have told my housemate Roland explicitly that I do not consent to searches, surveillance, or monitoring, and that if anybody asks, to tell them no. And I have never designated Roland to give consent on my behalf. He's never stated to me any type of request for my consent, so I have no knowledge of such notifications or requests for consent, and I've never explicitly given consent to anything. I've never given anybody nonverbal consent or reason to think, oh, you nodded your head and you consented. So, you know, getting consent from Roland is not getting consent from me. And if you don't have a search warrant, then it doesn't matter if you just have Roland's consent. You have to have mine too. So, there's no search warrant, and barring the search warrant, then you have to have consent of all parties inside a private residence. And I would be considered a tenant there because I pay half the rent and half the bill. So, you know, that would have to be. There's squad car 605. It was idling in the parking lot there. And the cop just looked at me. He was sitting there idling until I pulled into the drive, and as soon as I did, he immediately started his engine and started driving away. And then he just looked at me like, what are you doing that for? Because that happens to me all the time, and there's no reason for it. And then the cops out on the parkway there. So it looks like he was just sitting there waiting for me to get there. I have to pick up Jacob, so why would I go, what is that supposed to be? Really. I mean, whatever is all I can say. And you don't want to hear those stories. You don't want to hear those stories. And there's Mr. Poe. He just waved at me. So in truth, the best choice would be for me and Jake just to stay gone for as long as we can every day when I can't do that if I don't have a vehicle. And that's a receipt. I'll take a receipt. I left came out of my purse. But that'll happen to me, and I see that kind of thing with squad cars a lot, and it'll be sitting on a corner or something. As soon as Jake and I drive by, it'll take off, or if we're sitting someplace and just eating or something like that, or whatever, a squad car will pull up and just sit there, or we're eating, and start flipping through papers. So this is all to say that I'm a schizophrenic. I guarantee you, if you check the documentation, you're going to see notations from the police saying that they confirmed contact between me and the snitches, or my location is a place where I was supposed to have allegedly done something, because that's what it looks like the cops are doing. And, I don't do anything illegal. I'm not a pedophile. And I'm only having a videotape to protect myself. So, you can accuse me of pointing cameras at children, but these same children were in public places where librarians were defending them when they were jumping out in front of me and then talking to me like they were going to meet me somewhere. And I didn't know any of them and had never talked to any of them, and had no choice but to start videoing them, especially since, what was going on in Caddo was true. I suspected that I was being falsely accused of things that I didn't do. So to protect myself, I recorded myself. I didn't videotape anything. But up until the last day that I worked. And that's because there was a little girl that was acting very suspiciously, and had obviously been put up to acting suspiciously. And I had no choice but to do that. And I can prove that I didn't do anything wrong, and I can also, it obviously shows that the child was being used as though the child was an undercover detective. So in the audio that I have will back it up too. So there's no reason for anybody to accuse me of that. I've got the documentation from the school board that shows that I was being reported like I thought I was, and nobody was ever asking me anything about anything. So, it was just I was being ambushed by this kind of stuff over and over again, and I was only trying to protect myself, which I have a right to do if I'm dealing with informants. So, here comes Mr. Skiro. Oh, he just pointed like this to me and then turned around. He looked at my face, and then he's calling for Jake now. He just gave me a thumbs up. I don't know what he meant when he said, anything you need, just, I don't know what he meant by that. Most people would think, as a teacher, he was talking to me as though he was a teacher, if there was anything related to school, or something along those lines, Yeah, you got an extra apartment that Jake and I can live in and we don't have any money to pay. That would be outrageous to ask. And, there's Jake. Jake just came out of the cafeteria. And here he comes now. He's walking by himself. And there he is. Well, it's a bit warmer today.
Right.
I guess they're still waiting to see if more kids are coming or something. Can I go? Oh, she's telling me to wait.
Okay. She said no.
Okay. All right. So, how was your day, dear?
How was your day?
Oh, drunkard ambush again. The drunkard played their little games. She actually came and knocked on our door. As soon as I heard her on the stairwell, I ran into your room and closed the door. Owen answered the door. She asked him if she could use his cell phone. And I guess whatever it was quick as lightning, because he wasn't even at the door 15 seconds. And then he turned around and went back to his room. I had no idea what that was about, but then they were standing outside next door, drinking in open containers, doing whatever they were doing. They took off after about an hour, I guess, 30 minutes to an hour, drinking. She had an open container of alcohol in her hand, got in the driver's seat of her car. So, they're real strong pillars of the community, you can tell. Everyone should believe everything they say. I don't know them. I've never had anything to do with them. Didn't have any contact with them. And Roland didn't notify me of anything, so it's all a game. So, do y'all have an early release tomorrow?
No.
No?
No.
Really?
Oh, and you want to point this.
What?
Our teacher's name is Brooke Jones.
Uh-huh.
And her initials are BJ. And last year, it's time that she found out her initials were BJ.
Uh-huh.
And everyone was calling her DJ. And Miss Jones, she just begged the class not to tell anyone that was her initials. Because Nicholas, he didn't realize it then, but then he realized that later that BJ spelled blowjob.
Oh.
Everyone would call her that.
Yeah, that thought didn't even cross my mind. Why do y'all think along? He thinks along those lines?
So he realized it.
Nick did?
Yeah.
Okay.
A couple of the other students did. They realized that that's what.
And it stands for Brooke Jones. I've heard of other people that had the initials BJ. It didn't have anything to do with a blowjob. So that's really bizarre that Nick would say that. Well, that's the last thing I would have thought. Oh my God, I can't believe y'all. That's terrible. That is so terrible. I mean it. Really?
Yeah. God damn, it's not right. But wasn't it just freezing cold
Yeah.
a week ago and
I
now
know.
it's fucking warm?
Yeah, it's very warm.
I think about 70.
Yeah.
70, like 60.
Yeah.
Well, I turned in the short story that project that turned on shit. I turned on the DLP shit, report card, all that shit. I turned on that shit.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, apparently it's so necessary for it to be signed.
Well,
When your door is closed,
right. No, it's the seatbelt. The seatbelt's broken, so it doesn't work.
no. I usually only have whenever the door is closed.
Right.
Damn, that got a plastic wrap on his door. Oh, okay. Feels like I need plastic wrap on. Window ain't broken.
Huh.
Oh, it's the second door. The second door is window broken.
Oh, really?
Yep. So tomorrow's Jane's Day and concession day.
Oh, really?
Which I'm probably money for.
I don't have any cash.
Yep, that's that now.
I gave my last $10 to Roland. Yeah, I have to cash it. I have to go cash it.
Did you know that there is an official insurance you can buy for aliens?
Oh, really?
Yes. It's insurance against alien abduction,
Really?
alien death, or alien harm.
Oh.
Yes. You can actually buy the insurance.
Well,
5,000 people have bought it already.
I guess I'm curious about how you could prove that you were abducted by aliens.
Well, in order to get the insurance claim, you need to have complete, solid evidence that you were abducted from aliens, supposed to be burned back to Earth or whatever.
Right.
To get your insurance claim.
Okay. Well, you know, I think you might do better if you just threw your money out the window. Because if you could prove that, they'd be all over the news anyway, wouldn't it? But I guess they think maybe someday somebody will prove it. Do you think there's really aliens?
Well, yeah, I don't think it's for aliens. I know there has it theoretically, statistically impossible for us to be the only life form that exists in the galaxy. That's statistically impossible.
Unless you believe what the Bible says.
And Christians say the Bible says what it says, and there couldn't be any such thing as aliens if the Bible is true.
The human race, we created this concept of race because we do not have a scientific explanation for this.
Well, I figure if there were aliens out there, Oprah Winfrey would have interviewed them for now. I think Barbara Walters would have got to him before Oprah now. I'm kind of banking on George Stephanopoulos, too. He's pretty aggressive.
If there are aliens,
pretty smart fella.
the aliens are not even going to say hi.
He's got great hair. I like his hair.
Are not going to go to us because we made a big deal out of going to our own fucking moon. They're just going to planet to planet with them is normal. They find someone that's going through their own moon. It's a big major accomplishment. And they're...
Oh, so you're thinking about that Star Trek and First Contact rule, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that works in Star Trek, but Star Trek is a movie. It's not real.
I know that.
So.
I never even watched that fucking movie First Contact.
But you would, it would be the prime directive. That's what they call it in Star Trek. What is it? That if there's an alien life form that's never been contacted by Starfleet or other life forms, from other planets, then it's a violation of the prime directive to interrupt their evolutionary development by having contact with them.
Yeah, didn't the guy say that a species that has not even invented the wheel yet has seen a starship rise out of their ocean?
Yeah, that was in that Star Trek movie, the new one.
Yeah.
What was it called? Into Darkness?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good show. I like the guy they got playing, well, he was good. Yeah, I liked him. He was the same guy that played Julian Assange. His name is Benedict Cumberbatch.
Right.
And then the guy, I don't know, who's the guy that played Kirk?
Same guy that played Kirk before.
Yeah, he's really good too, and he was in that movie with Kevin Costner too. He's really good. I think he's a good actor. He ought to do a lot more movies. The guy who played Spock, I thought he was good. Did you think he was good?
Yeah.
He was kind of funny. He made me laugh a lot. Yeah. And I thought it was cool the way they got Leonard Nimoy, the original Spock, into that show. He did a little cameo shot, That was great. I thought that was really good. This is Gator Drive, home of the Gators. Like those Gators. It's the Captain Shreve Gators is what it is. So you're thinking the aliens believe in the prime directive, huh? So they don't want to violate us by letting us know that they're there. So they won't do the interview with Barbara Walters or Oprah?
Just because we're going to make a big deal out of it. I mean, they've already, because other life forms are like different races to them.
What if they would agree to a contract to be on the front of a cereal box? Like Bruce Jenner? Unofficially. They might do that, but I don't know what you'd pay them with if there are aliens out there. I just figure if they were, though, by now they would have been on the faces of cereal boxes. Oprah would have interviewed him. They might have even done Jerry Springer, just for the fun of it. You never know. Aliens fighting. I gotta catch my joke. So I can give you some money for your refreshments tomorrow at school. Yeah, it's really warm today, isn't it? Oh, and the lady downstairs was hammering behind your wall today. Right behind the outlet, too. Right by your bed. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning. Not really. I wouldn't hammer in the morning. That's really rude, unless you were in construction and you start at 6 a.m. But then you'd be at a construction site and not at somebody's house, so, you know.
Well, if you're remodeling.
Right.
That'd be at someone's house.
Yeah. But then they would know you were there and they would expect you to hammer at 6 o'clock in the morning. You know. That's all I'm saying. They put a lot of speed bumps in this parking lot. They frown upon people that speed here. So, you know. And they usually have a cop here at least at night. Oh, was that one of those little electric cars? Or is that just one of those little cars?
It's a little car. No, look at the antenna on top. Might be electric.
Could be electric because look where they put the antenna. Or maybe that's an alien spaceship. You think?
No.
Maybe they're just trying to follow the Prime Directive and look like our cars, and that's why we got all these little bitty, tiny little cars that look so little that you could run over them with a... Maybe. Could be. You never know. But I have seen commercials, I think, for them. Or maybe if it wasn't commercials, it might have been... you know, Al Gore was all about that, too.
Oh.
You know, and he was the vice president. So.
Al Gore about everything.
It's been a long time since I've heard anything from Al Gore, as a matter of fact, now that you mention it. You know, he was the vice president of the United States. And then, he was never president, though. They say he would have beat George Bush and that he won the popular vote. That was so strange. He won the popular vote, but then the Electoral College said George Bush won. So they gave the election to George Bush.
So whatever college.
The Electoral College, those are the people who officially cast the ballots for the presidency. They're the ones who determine, they cast the official votes for the president, and they vote according to what their state votes is what they're supposed to do, which that's what was so strange about it, because the popular votes for the states indicated that Al Gore won a very decisive victory. But then it didn't turn out that way with the Electoral College, so everybody thought something happened, and there was all kinds of scandal about it.
About everything.
Pretty much, yeah. Okay. You want something to eat? You hungry? How about some salad? Would you like some salad? You don't want any salad? Well, you know, salad is so healthy. It's so good for you. Am I getting on your nerves by saying that? I'm just teasing you.
What?
What?
What?